This segment of Showcase is brought to you by Coastal Contracting, and we are taking you from studs to sold with Quan. Now, we went on a tour before to see what this house in the fan looked like originally. It needed some love. It had not been habitated in for about a year or so, and it was going to be a big project. We are now checking back in with you. What is the latest?
Oh my gosh, so we just received our permit from the city a few days ago. But since then, we have started demoing, and about 70% of the home has structural wood rot.
Now, is that common? Because we're here in the fan. A lot of these houses are older. Do you see that typically in homes that are older where you start taking it apart and you're like, there's a lot going on behind the scenes I didn't imagine?
Absolutely. It's very common for this age home to find a lot of rotted wood.
Yeah.
And that's all the way from the floor joists to wall studs, which we have reframed most of it.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's funny because some people think you can just kind of put a Band-Aid over some of this stuff. And what I love about Coastal Contracting is you look at it and you're like, no, this whole thing needs to be started from the beginning so it's actually fixed properly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about, there was a room in the back where you thought it might have been a garage back in the day. There was definitely some dripping and things happening in the ceiling. What ended up happening there?
Yeah, so we did end up having to demo the entire roof, the framing, and the ceiling tiles came out, and we reframed it. We lifted up the ceiling so it's 8 foot height. We also had to frame new floor joists because that was also completely rotted. Because the new codes today, they require enveloping of insulation onto a new space.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think is the hardest part about a project like this? If you're the homeowner and you think it's just something that can be done really quickly, as a contracting company, what do you think is the hardest explanation for someone who didn't realize all this was going to be involved?
I mean, we definitely give all of our homeowners, who owns a home that's definitely pre 1960s and has not been touched, right, has not been repaired, or that particular room has not been gutted, to kind of this could happen. This is the worst case scenario. We give you the worst case scenario, and then we'll work our way back up.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's important. So expectations are set ahead of time so people know what they might be getting into.
Yes.
Okay, so next phase of the project, we've got everything down to just the bare walls and studs at this point. I'm trying to see your vision because I'm so excited. What is the next step now?
Okay, well, the next step is to finish framing. Framing is about 80% complete, and then from there we do our plumbing rough-in, HVAC rough-in, electrical, and then when all that gets done, the windows will also be installed at the same time. They're supposed to be coming in the next few weeks. So it's tons of there's a ton of heavy lifting still.
Tell me about your team that's working with you here.
Okay, well, today we are working on the roof. We just figured today would be a good day to go ahead and get that completed. Same thing, we have a lot of wood rot on the roof. And then framers are still working on the framing on the entire home. It's going to be probably a few more weeks before framing gets completed along with the rough-ins.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. I like that as you're kind of going along, you're like, and also this, but you're doing it because you want this house to be phenomenal by the time that it's sold.
Well, we do. We do. And obviously we want to work as fast as we can, but we do want the best product, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love too that you're keeping some of the charming parts about this house because it is in the fan. It's a historical treasure, and you are trying to make sure that it keeps the integrity and the charm of that while also maintaining new structure inside.
Yes.
Yes. Well, we're very excited about going through this process with you. I know you have so much to do, so I'm going to let you go so you can get the rest done. But we're going along the entire way from studs to sold and following Quan and her team as they go through this house and get it ready to be sold. This segment of Showcase is brought to you by Coastal Contracting.